Hey guys, I'm Elegant and welcome to the Pokevlog. So this week, another Pokemon Direct was aired, so we got some new information about Pokemon X and Y. So the first thing is that Professor Sycamore gives you the Kanto Starters, and no, I didn't mess up my words there, I meant Kanto and not Kalos. So yeah, we get Bulbasaur, Squirtle and Charmander, which is bizarre, so check that out on the side, boys, a little trailer for it. But we get a choice between one of the three. And now, I don't think this is a replacement for your the Kalos starters, so Chespin, Froakie and Fennekin. I don't think it's a replacement because of the way the trailer showed it as only choosing from the three, Charmander, Bulbasaur and Squirtle, and not like 6 of them and then have a replacement starter as a Kanto starter. So I don't think the 3 Kanto starters are your starter in the Kalos region. I think we just must get them additionally or something. I don't quite know. We have a lot of information of getting like new Pokemon at the start of the game from Professor Sycamore. Maybe there's a combination of different Pokemon we can choose from and this is one of them or something like that. We don't know so far. As far as we know, we're just going to get a choice between one of these 3 Kanto starters. So there is a reason that we have a choice for these Kanto starters. It's because their final evolutions have Mega Evolutions, because only final evolutions and final stages of Pokemon get Mega Evolutions. So we have a Mega Charizard, Mega Venusaur and Mega Blastoise. And as with most Mega Evolutions, we don't really know anything about them other than their change of ability. So let's go through them. So Charizard has the ability, or Mega Charizard has the ability Drought, which I think is just making a super overpowered Pokemon even more overpowered. So if you don't know what Drought does, it basically puts up a permanent sunshine when you send it out. And that's going to boost the fire type moves that it has. It's going to boost, well, it's going to make Solar Beam happen in one turn. Also, if you look at Charizard, you realise it looks even more like a dragon, and then you remember that Charizard was never really a dragon type. Yet this thing is a dragon type, which I'm like, since the Mega Ampharos is a dragon type, and Ampharos wasn't, I'm thinking maybe the Mega Charizard might get the dragon type because it looks even more like a dragon. It'd be crazy if it wasn't, but there is a problem with this. Because of the fact that Mega Charizard, well, Charizard itself flies and is a fire type, it needs to have the ability to levitate to be able to get rid of the flying type. Basically, it needs to be able to fly, and the only way a Pokemon can fly is with the flying type or having levitate. No, it does not have levitate. It has Drought, and the original Charizard didn't have levitate anyway. And the fact it's a fire type would mean Drought becomes kind of useless. So then it puts in a bit of a predicament. If you had a dragon type, where would it go? It wouldn't go anywhere. Like, for example, if you look at Flygon, Flygon is a flying Pokemon that can use fly, but is a ground and dragon type. It can't have the additional flying type in there because it's already a ground and dragon, but they want it to fly, so they gave it the ability to levitate. So you're in a predicament with Charizard. So I'm kind of thinking they're not going to give it a dragon type, or they really should though. It should be a 3rd type, it should be dragon, because it looks so much like a dragon. But anyway, the next one is Mega Venusaur, which is going to have the ability Thick Fat, which reduces the effectiveness or the amount of damage done by fire types and ice types by half. So that's actually a really good one because Venusaur is both weak to fire and ice. It's pretty defensive anyway, so it's just to make a defensive Pokemon even more defensive. So Mega Blastoise has the ability Mega Launcher, which is a pretty brand new ability, which is pretty interesting. So basically it boosts the power of pulse moves, so like Dragon Pulse, Water Pulse, and the Dark Pulse, which is pretty cool. Additionally to this, the person that was doing the Pokemon Direct said it's fun to imagine how each Pokemon will turn out with the Mega Evolution, which kind of, it doesn't say it, but it hints that each Pokemon, every single Pokemon, will get a Mega Evolution, or he could be saying it would be cool to think of every Pokemon's Mega Evolution if they had one, but they don't have one. We don't quite know whether all Pokemon will have a Mega Evolution, but it seems like there's more and more exponentially getting more and more Pokemon with their Mega Evolutions. We don't know though. We don't know if all Pokemon will have Mega Evolutions. It's just kind of hinted by what he said. But anyway, also we got some new information on how we're going to Mega Evolve. So if you remember the wrist thing on the main playable characters, which I thought was like the X-Transceiver and would let you contact people, but it does look a bit funny, like you're kind of wondering how it'd be an X-Transceiver, so I thought it was like more of a projection 3D fancy futuristic thing, but it turns out it isn't. It turns out it's called a Mega Ring, which is the bracelet thing. So a Mega Ring, which is the bracelet, and in it has a stone called the Keystone. So basically, when you want to Mega Evolve a Pokemon, your Keystone in your Mega Bracelet will resonate with the Mega Stone your Pokemon's holding, and they will Mega Evolve. And now, apparently we're going to get some more information on this next week from the Pokemon Smash, because Pokemon Smash sort of hinted at it this week, and also there's a clip at the end of it showing next week's Pokemon Smash of one of the people from Pokemon Smash Mega Evolving a Pokemon, and then looking very surprised after the Pokemon Mega Evolve. So we don't quite know whether it's just them being over dramatic and overreacting like they usually do on that show, or whether there's actually some brand new news, and it kind of does look like there is because they particularly showed that part at the end of Pokemon Smash. So Pokemon, like everything else these days, is going to have cloud storage. Basically, you download an app, Pokemon Bank, which you have to pay for annually, and you get 100 boxes of space to store your Pokemon on the internet, which I think is pretty cool. And also it's pretty weird because of the fact in-game you have the PCs, which is basically like cloud storage in-game because you put your Pokemon in there, you can take them out in a computer or whatever. It's basically like a cloud storage in-game. It's meant to be sent to your professor like in the anime, but it's actually just put onto the computer. And now we're going to get a real-world Pokemon cloud storage, which does the same thing except to more extent, and you put them online. So it is paid for annually, like I said, which is kind of not the best thing ever, but it's not too expensive. It's just a little bit of money, it's not too much, but I guess you kind of need it because you're kind of keeping your Pokemon on their servers or whatever, and like most cloud storage, you gotta pay annually. So what also comes with this is Pokemon Transporter. I assume Pokemon Transporter is in the Pokemon Bank app rather than a separate app. Basically, I'd assume you put your old games into it, but somehow you can get your old just DS games, not before DS, but just DS games, and put your Pokemon onto Pokemon Transporter, and then transport the Pokemon onto Pokemon X and Y. So I assume basically what you probably are going to do is put your old DS games into your 3DS, go onto Pokemon Bank, transfer your Pokemon into that, and then take your game out, of course, and then put your X and Y game in, and transport your Pokemon from the Pokemon Bank app into your game. I kind of assume that's going to work like that, but we don't know. Something else that Pokemon Direct showed us was a brief clip of a brand new Pokemon. So basically Venusaur and Mega Venusaur going into battle against a particular Pokemon, and this Pokemon looks kind of like an alpaca version of Absol. It's kind of white fur and black self, itself is black, but it looks funny. We've not had any announcements from it, which is bizarre. This is kind of like Oroto, the evil tree kind of Pokemon, that still hasn't been officially released. Like, we've seen it, we know it's there, we know it's a new Pokemon, but Pokemon, for some reason, are hesitant to actually officially release what it is and all this stuff about it, but we don't know anything about it other than this is what it looks like. While on the topic of 3DSs, I thought I'd talk about the brand new 2DS, which has actually had information about for like a couple of weeks now, so you probably all know what the 2DS is. But basically, it's the 2D version of the 3DS, which completely removes the point of the 3DS. But it makes sense because of the fact that if you have a 3DS, you've got the 3D, you could pay extra for it. Maybe people don't want to pay extra for it and just want the normal DS line, because basically 3D from the DS to, or the DSi to the 3DS, isn't like the transition from the Game Boy Advance into the DS. It's sort of a novelty thing because 3D gaming isn't a big thing really. It's not a given thing with gaming. It's just a novelty kind of thing. So therefore, I definitely feel like I do want Nintendo to continue like the normal DS line, as well as I think they are also considering the people who can't look at 3D because they have some issue or something like that, and just generally people who don't want to pay for it. And it does make sense that they will make a non-3D because of the fact that if you want the newest, the best, with all the new features and all the new apps and stuff, you've got to get a 3DS, and you can't get a DSi because they don't have all the same features as the 3DS does. So therefore I think that's definitely what they're trying to do, is continue the line of the DSi by making a non-3D version of the 3DS. But the fact is, they've not just done that, they've made it into a brick. They've brickified the DS, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because the fact that the screens are now going to scratch and break so easily, buttons are going to fall off. It's going to be awful for maintenance of the DS, because the fact that it closed made it so good and it didn't be scratched and it's easy to put in places. You don't really have to worry about it, but the 3DS, or the 2DS is going to be a massive pain. But the reason I think they've done that is because of the fact the only other difference the 2DS is going to have is that it's not as good as the 3DS. It's not going to have the 3D features, otherwise it's exactly the same. So basically they're releasing a new DS, which is not as good as the previous DS, which I think was their thinking, and they've thought they had to have something marketing to sort of sell it, something different, something that people consider, oh, this is different, I'll get this because I have a 3DS but it's not got this, which I want. Rather than if you have a 3DS, you're never ever going to buy a 2DS because you could just turn off 3D mode, and you know, why not just buy a 3DS and turn off 3D? So I guess that's kind of why they made it a brick shape, because they wanted something different, something to actually make it individual and sell. I don't think it's going to sell though at all, because at first its price is going to be more expensive than most 3DSs you can get around these days. So you might as well just get a 3DS and turn off 3D. Why just limit yourself to not having 3D? So first, I think the sales are going to be awful. What the Nintendo cheekily did to rectify that is put the release date the same day as Pokemon X and Y, which is kind of why I mentioned it, because Pokemon are kind of being used by Nintendo to sell their 2DS. So one last bit of information we got from Pokemon Smash last night was of how Super Training works. So basically Super Training is a way of EV training your Pokemon, not in battle and effort values if you didn't know. Basically additional values that are going to boost your Pokemon stats that you get from Pokemon battles, but you can only have certain many, and you can distribute them between the different stats, and therefore some stats are going to have more EVs than the others, and then you can't get any higher. So basically how this is going to work is that you have a mini game, and it showed on Pokemon Smash, so go check that out in the sidebar. Basically there's a giant magneton that you want to throw balls at. You are playing as your Pokemon that you want to EV train, and you throw balls at the magneton, and you throw balls at different places where it shows the target, and then you've got to hit them. I guess the more you hit them and the more directly you hit them, the more points you get or whatever. And also you've got to try and avoid big balls that the magneton throws back at you, so therefore I guess you're going to lose points if it throws back at you. Now what I don't know is whether you're going to get like different stat boosts or different EVs for different stat boosts with different Pokemon. Like Magneton will be special attack or something, and then you use another Pokemon like Lapras or something for HP, and therefore it kind of works like that. I don't know, maybe it's a Magneton for all of them, maybe it's just a random Pokemon, but I would assume it's a Pokemon with a particularly high stat that you would, in like a wild battle, you would get like one stat boost from that Pokemon as an EV, and then you get that stat from the Super Training. But also it showed that you get points from it, and like through one session, like the Sylveon got +8 points in the little clip that I in the sidebars, and therefore we don't know whether this is going to be a +8 points just in the game, which is going to translate into being able to get EV, or literally +8 EV, which is actually quite a lot, because the max for each effort value for each Pokemon is 31, so therefore +8 is quite a lot. It's going to be quite easy to EV train. We don't know though, it looks pretty cool. So anyway, let's move on to the question of the week. So if you haven't noticed, Pokemon recently have been taking things quite a lot from the first generation. So we have the new Pokemon Origins, which is based off the first generation. We've had Ash's Charizard come back in the anime. We're actually soon to have Brock reappear in the anime, Ash going back to Kanto in the anime, and now we're going to have the 3 Kanto Starters in the game. We're just going to have like all this first generation stuff come right back to us and hit us in the face in the new generation. So Pokemon seem to be responding to the fact that a lot of old Pokemon fans really didn't like Unova, because Unova, the whole thing about Unova was detach itself from all the old Pokemon, be a brand new place where there's nothing from the old. And I think a lot of people negatively responded to that, and you know, a lot of people thought Pokemon was completely ignoring them because of the fact that they didn't like it. But I think what's actually happening is that they had to go on through Unova of being quite detached from the first generation, although they did bring in all the old Pokemon with Pokemon Black and White too, but they sort of had to carry on the way they'd started, because it would be funny if they'd suddenly change, although they did change a little bit. But I think they did respond to all the older audiences, realise the fact that their main Pokemon audience, the people who are going to buy Pokemon and really gonna give them money, Pokemon money, are the ones that started in the first generation that are like the old Pokemon, are quite nostalgic. So I do think Pokemon respond to this, and I haven't even got to the question yet. So basically what my question is, what do you think Pokemon are doing? Do you think Pokemon are trying to appeal to all the audiences? Do you think they're completely going to the older audiences now? Now that even Brock's coming back in the anime, do you think the normal anime, as well as Pokemon Origins, is going to focus on more of the older audiences? Or do you think it's just coincidence that they're bringing the first generation back? Or do you think they're just being really lazy and they can't bother to think of new ideas? Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment down below, and I'll see you next time.